Tell me when it goes live.
It's live. It's live.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Behind the Scenes. And our conversation today, we kind of had no choice because Sunday's like the biggest holiday of the year. And for some others it is, and for some others it's no big deal, and for a lot of people it's a challenging day. So we posted on Facebook, and Mindy posted in Help a Parent Out. What do you want for Mother's Day? And there were so many threads going through what people wanted. So a lot of people want the day to themselves. A lot of moms want the day to themselves. And I'm going to tell you that everything everyone put in there at some point I have felt. So there's no judgment here at all. And an equal number of people only want to be surrounded by their family. So it's like, I'm guessing our kids know which one we are at that moment for that year. And then there's people who want to go away with their girlfriends. Like they just want to get away and have some fun. And that is what they consider to be a gift to them. And there's the people who are like, clean my house for me. That is love. That is love for me. Anyway, go check it out on Facebook. Jessica, can you put the link in there? A lot of good answers. And I think the most important thing for us is to let our families know what it is we want, because there's nothing worse than wanting a day to yourself and your family plans back to back to back activities. So instead of making them guessers, let them know what you want. I can tell you that. So my husband's actually going away on Sunday, and it's a little funny because when he asked me if I minded, I said, I mean, I guess it's okay. And he said, great. So I said, what about my tone of voice and words made you think great? But he is in fact going away. If he's listening, I want him to know that the better technique is to say, these guys are going away, but I told them I can't go because it's Mother's Day. And I for sure would have said, oh, it's Mother's Day, just go. But the other way was like not as good. So anyway, I have one kid who's going to be home on Sunday, and he said, do you want to take a bike ride together? Which is my all-time favorite Mother's Day thing. And this is a kid who likes to go for a bike ride. So I'm pretty excited.
This is a kid who just put himself to the top of the
I know. Yeah, he was negotiating for some folding laundry at the end of the semester, so it worked. I am now folding a semester's worth, all his clothing actually. But I'm happy to, because he's going for a bike ride with me. Okay, so Jen, jump in.
Okay, yeah, I inserted myself into your conversation.
You are always welcome.
I know. Thank you, Sue. I was nodding along when you were saying we should just tell them, really, you do need to be specific. And I find every year I get even a little bit more specific about what it is. And sometimes what it isn't. Sometimes I have to say things like, when the kids were younger, I had to say, I do not want breakfast in bed. I don't enjoy eating in my bed. There's nothing I like about it. So just let's take that off the table. And once they knew that was not on the table, that was helpful. But it's not enough just to define what you don't want.
Actually, it was on the table, Jen. You wanted
it was on the table. For the win. So like last year, I was hyper specific, to the point where I may or may not have actually sent them Amazon links to what it was I wanted, because I started with a general description. I said, I would like an herb planter box and some herbs to plant in the box and the dirt. And I thought that was pretty specific, and it is. But then, so my husband said, he sent me how he interpreted what that was. And it was this fancy cart. It was up on wheels. And it was like, no, that's not at all what I really wanted. And I went back onto the same website where he had been, maybe it was Home Depot, and I found a very basic cedar box that sits on the ground. And it was a third of the cost of what he had in mind. And I said, this is what I want. And I said, and it requires a little bit of work because you actually will have to seal it. And he's like, great, no problem. So it was perfect because I was so specific. Should we have to be that specific? I don't know, but just do yourself a favor and figure something out, even if it's not your absolute heart's desire. It's just going to make everybody's day better if they know what they're in for and you know what you're in for. And there's nothing I hate more than when my husband makes the kids feel bad because they didn't do enough. Because I don't feel that way about it. I'm happy to have a little time with you guys today. I would love to go for a walk. That's usually what I'd like to do on Mother's Day. That is never on anybody else's wish list. So I've even removed that expectation. I'm like, if it happens, it happens. Great. If it doesn't, but the bare minimum is I don't touch a dish. I don't clean it, and I don't think about what we're having. Like I want to be absolved of all meal planning on Mother's Day. You guys figure it out. I'll eat it. I'm gonna go for a walk while you clean up. Everybody's a winner.
Jen, that might be the number one response on our Help a Parent Out.
I bet it will. Just don't make me do a dish.
Well, basically any kind of cleaning will be valued.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that will show love.
Kind of bare minimum, but yeah, I think that's all I need. It doesn't need to be fancy. I don't even need a card. I really don't. I loved it when the kids were little and they would make cards, but I don't need you to buy me a card. They're like $8 now. That's insane. Okay, Kamira, over to you.
Wait, Kamira, before you start, anyone listening, if you want to put what you want in the comments, we would love to hear from you.
Okay. First, the other day, I remembered to remind my guys that it was Mother's Day because I didn't want to be annoyed. And there's a certain person in our house who can't keep a secret, and I noticed wasn't mentioning it. And I don't think he's all of a sudden learned how to keep a secret. So I was like, they don't remember. So I reminded them because I was like, I'm going to be really annoyed. It's going to be bad for everybody.
Okay, wait. Just to be fair, Mother's Day feels really early this year. Like if you only just flipped the calendar over to May, you might be shocked to see that it is this Sunday. So I'm just going to put that out there too.
No, I agree. You're right. And I think that may be one of the reasons why I was giving them a break. So the easy thing, I broke this into 3 things. The easy thing they can do is our son, who's he's still a newcomer, it hasn't been a year yet. I have a huge 80-pound beanbag in my office. And he asked me, where'd you get it? And I was like, actually, you can have it if you replace it with a cheap, basic day bed that I will pay for, but it has to be able to get through the door. There's a reason I have a beanbag because the door is really skinny, or you have to build it in there. So he hasn't done that. So the easy thing will be for them just to go to, one of those big box stores and get me a really simple day bed, and he can take out the beanbag. What I really want is for them to like play games with me, have a game day, be silly, go biking, that kind of stuff. I miss that stuff. Our youngest is 18 and, I'm holding on fleetingly to those family times. That's what I really want. What's going to happen is we're going to have a concert because there's an orchestra my kid is in. And for some reason, they think it's lovely to have a spring concert every Mother's Day. They've never asked the mothers. And so we'll go to the concert, and it's not just going to a concert. You got to drop them off early for rehearsal and sit in a parking lot because you can't go in until they've rehearsed and all that stuff. And then they'll have a nice meal for me because they're really good about that. That's probably what's really going to happen. But I'll let you guys know next week how it went. I'm going to send it up to Sharon.
You know what's funny,
Kamira, should we tag your family in the comments so they can listen?
Kamira, my husband's college has graduation on Mother's Day every single year. So on the upside, it's probably one time if you just have one kid who goes there. But on the other hand, is that what you want to do? Sit through commencement speeches, probably outside in the hot sun, or maybe the rain. I don't know. It just
tell me Mother's Day isn't about you without telling me Mother's Day isn't about you.
Imagine for the people who work at the college who have to do this every year. I just thought of that now. Oh, and Jen, I had to laugh when you were talking about your husband upgrading what you wanted for an herb garden. When I got married, I was very young. And I registered for things like you were supposed to do. And I registered for knives, some sort of knives. And somebody I knew said, oh, I saw that you registered for those knives, but I got you these because they're better knives than what you picked. It was probably right in that way. But, when you have a wish list for Mother's Day, it should be followed. I think where I went wrong in the early years was I didn't have a specific wish list. And also at that time, I just wanted to be left alone because there were children on top of me all the time. And it was that relentless touch and like, you're never off duty. And then, I think that we're all going that way as our kids get older and we see them less. Now, yes, come spend time with me and do exactly what I want to do because the other times it's not happening. So I think I'm one of those parents who wants to walk. I think I'm going to request a little hike. And even more so, I want to hike without complaint. So that'll be the real gift is if I can get no complaints. Jessica, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Sharon, you might want to just like lower your expectations a little bit. Like the hike might have to be enough.
Wait,
No,
and also,
no.
Can I just say that when I have had any success getting my people to go for a hike with me, their definition of a hike and mine are very different. So I had to institute this particular rule, which is we have to spend at least as much time on the hike as it took for us to get to the hike.
Okay. Fair enough. Not
That's
trying my hike.
Yeah, I feel like walks are usually like just a pretty good go-to for either of my parents. Also, Mom, if you are here, please leave. I know sometimes she shows up. I doubt she's here today, but just in case, Mom. No, I'm very bad at gifts and giving and remembering days. So I forgot about Mother's Day until I was making the Mother's Day memes for our Facebook page, which means I don't necessarily have a gift. I get paralyzed anytime I'm looking at gifts. I think if my mom had a wish list, that would make my life easier. Usually my go-to is just cooking. So I was texting my dad earlier, like, hey, do you guys have Mother's Day plans yet? Do you need help in the kitchen so we can cook something for Mom? So that's probably what it's going to be. And then I don't know. I think 9 times out of 10, my mom's ideal day is let's take Winston somewhere and watch him run around and sniff things.
Jessica, if it makes you feel better, I don't have my act together for my own mother yet either. So I find I don't know if anybody else's mom, if you still have your mom, you have the same thing. The older she gets, the harder she is to shop for. It's like they want nothing. And except for me to, travel a couple states over and be with her on the day. But
Okay. So if you're on and you want to put what you're looking for, we'll tag your kids and your husband. I want to say that when I was in the marriage part of life, I thought registries were so ridiculous. And I especially still think this, like a shower where someone opens the registry gifts and goes, oh my God, I love this. Like, yeah, we know because you picked it. But over the years, I am so grateful that babies have now become a registry list because it's so easy. And I remember the piles of things I had to return because either they weren't suitable, they were the wrong size, just wasn't going to use it. And like you've just had a newborn, that's the last thing you want to deal with is returns. So now I'm all in. Everybody just put down what they want and we'll pick something. I love it so much. I feel a little badly that I'm not going to independent bookstores for books, but I'm usually deciding at the last minute and we know what's going to get sent quicker. So to all the moms out there, we wish you Jen wants to get on. Oh, I'm so glad we have stuff to announce.
Okay. Also, I do have a question that I don't know. I should know the answer to, but don't we have a gift guide for Mother's Day that we put out sometimes for people? Do we have one of those? That like other things that other moms have requested that you could like maybe forward to your family and say,
That's a great idea.
Ideas. Do we have one of those? I think we might have one of those.
We do have one of those. I'm sure Jessica's finding it right now.
Okay.
And Kamira, what's going on tomorrow?
I'm so glad Jen gave me that time because I could look up his name. Tomorrow, we're talking to Jonathan Balolo, and we're going to be talking about meaningful relationships for teens, why they are important, how they can develop them, and what the difference that they make. So you want to listen to that and what difference it makes if they don't have these meaningful relationships and how that can affect them. So tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay, and my Thursday got canceled. So I'm open for suggestions if people have topics they want us to cover, something that's going on in your life or you're hearing other people talk about it. We'd love to get those in the comments and cover some topics that maybe we wouldn't have thought of without your input. So thank you. We're excited. We're about to launch something fun and exciting. And hopefully next Monday, we'll give you an announcement of what's going on. So join us next Monday. And in the meantime, if you're celebrating Mother's Day, we hope it doesn't let you down. And if you're not celebrating Mother's Day, we hope you find a way to make the day okay for you. So everyone, have a great week.